coming over from America. Talking of heading over from America, we're joined in the studio now by Steve Miranda and Jeff Ellis from NFL Rants and Raves to look ahead to the game. And guys, you've literally just flown in.
We just got off the plane.
Good journey?
It was a very safe journey. There was 100 degrees in Los Angeles.
Didn't get to sleep much, unfortunately.
No, that's economy for you.
Yeah.
Although we're here, you went first class.
That's completely untrue.
Before we talk about the game, quickly tell us about the website you run, Rants and Raves. What kind of thing do you feature on that?
NFL Rants and Raves. It's a fan's perspective on the NFL. We talk about all 32 teams. We cover every week on a week-by-week case all the games that are going to be played that weekend. Jeff and I break them down. We tell you who we think is going to win and why.
So the NFL has come to London. It's come to Wembley Stadium, second time in a row that this has happened here. What do you think, in principle, about a regular season NFL game being held somewhere outside the States?
It's a mixed bag. It really is, because for many of the fans in America, they feel like they're getting gypped. They feel like they're getting ripped off of a home game, because one of the teams has to give up a home game, and in this case it's New Orleans, which is really unfortunate because they're still trying to recover their economy from Hurricane Katrina several years ago. And so if you recall, the Superdome was one of the evacuation sites, and it was devastated by the hurricane. And so that economy is still trying to get its feet back on the ground, and any home NFL game brings in an enormous amount to the local economy. And so if you're a fan, it means that you lose one of your home games that you would attend, and that's your big entertainment, and you've got... Football is way more than just the game. It's the pregame, it's the tailgating, it's everything you do from the moment you wake up is all about game day.
But Stephen, for the fans over here, though, who are going to turn out their numbers on Sunday, this is a great opportunity to see some of the finest players America has to offer.
It is, and I probably, well, the NFL won't like me saying this, but you guys are going to see a much better game than you saw last season.
You went last year, didn't you?
Yes, we were here last season with the Giants.
In the pouring rain.
Giants, Dolphins. This year you got San Diego and New Orleans. You got a lot of talent on both sides. The San Diego Chargers bringing Phillip Rivers, LaDainian Tomlinson, one of the premier running backs in the National Football League, Chris Chambers, Antonio Gates, one of the premier tight ends in the National Football League. And then other side of the ball, quarterback Drew Brees, who is fantastic throwing the ball right now for the New Orleans Saints.
However, you mentioned that the Chelsea striker is out this week.
Yeah.
Well, the New Orleans Saints is missing their striker.
Reggie
Bush, unfortunately.
How much of a blow is that?
It is major.
It is such a big blow that last night, when we recorded our show, we had both agreed that the Saints would win this game, but I've since changed my mind. Because Bush will not be on the field, the New Orleans Saints probably won't score enough points to win.
But Jeff,
unfortunately,
how much of a blow is that?
It is major.
It is such a big blow that last night, when we recorded our show, we had both agreed that the Saints would win this game, but I've since changed my mind. Because Bush will not be on the field, the New Orleans Saints probably won't score enough points to win.
But Jeff, Kevin Cadle is our resident NFL man here at Sky Sports.
Yes.
I was reading his column, and even with Reggie Bush being out, he expects the scoreboard to explode,
yes,
in his words, on Sunday. Do you expect that?
Drew Brees has so many weapons at his disposal. It is seriously amazing. But the unique chemistry between Reggie Bush and Drew Brees cannot be overstated. He was dynamic at college. We were fortunate enough to live in Southern California, where we got to see him play in college.
On Saturday.
But to see him transform into an NFL elite player has been something very, very special.
There will definitely be a lot more points scored than there were last year. Last year the final score was 13-10. This year we're expecting more in the high 20s, maybe getting 30s.
Wow.
Okay, so we're looking for a highly explosive game, a high-scoring game.
Yes.
It's
a lot of throwing the ball.
Spectacular, isn't it, at Wembley Stadium?
Yes.
But what about the rules for those people out there that perhaps aren't necessarily NFL fans, but they like the whole spectacle?
We've got a 1-minute podcast-style guide for the rules.
Okay.
We rehearsed this.
Here we go. Well, first of all, there's an offense and a defense. The offense is trying to score the points, and the defense is trying to prevent them from scoring. On offense, you have 4 downs, which are like tries. You have 4 tries to gain 10 yards to move your ball down the field to get into the end zone and score your points, which would be touchdowns or field goals. Obviously, touchdowns being the most points you can score, between 6 and 8, because you get points after try, 1 point or 2 points, so you can get between 6 and 8 points for a touchdown.
Sometimes you move the ball slowly down the field. Sometimes you move the ball quickly down the field. If you're a running game, you might do it every 3 downs. You're hopefully getting a new set. So you get a new set of tries or downs if you make that 10 yards.
Now, the defensive side of the ball, you're trying to prevent them from scoring. You're trying to take the ball away, and then you become the offense, and then you try to score on the other team's end zone. Take a look at it from your football,
Real
football. You're always on the offensive. The offensive ball is always trying to move forward to get into the goal to score points. And that is the primary objective of the...
One of the major differences, however, is that virtually no one plays both sides of the ball. So you're either a defender or an offensive player. And where in football, you're on the field all the time. You may be primarily a defender, but you're still going to move up and maybe play a sweeper position or something like that. Everybody comes off the field and changes sides.
Right. You mentioned football there, and for football players around the world, playing at Wembley is still the place they kind of want to play.
Absolutely.
What about for American footballers? Is it the same kind of deal?
There's a buzz.
I'm telling you, these teams getting to come overseas and play at such a huge stadium. Some stadiums in the National Football League, they can only fit about 65, 70,000
45,000 in the case of Green Bay.
That's right, 45,000. Here, you're going to see close to 90,000, maybe over 90,000 people. That's a lot of people getting here to watch one game.
I know you've only just got off a flight, but heck, we're just going to ask you anyway.
Do it.
Predictions.
Okay, we haven't talked about this at all, but I've got the Saints losing to I've got the Saints winning to the Chargers, and I would say 28 to 23.
Oh.
He's wearing the San Diego jersey, but picking the Saints. I'm picking the San Diego Chargers. I think they will score often on the weaker New Orleans secondary. Phillip Rivers will have a big game. 35-27 San Diego Chargers.
35-27, even bigger scores there.
Yeah, no, it should be a shootout.
Stephen, Jeff, thanks for joining us. Have a terrific weekend.
Thank you very much for having us.
Once again, we appreciate you coming in just when you got off your flight. Don't forget, you can see the San Diego Chargers against the New Orleans Saints. It's